And welcome back. This is K24 this morning. Like I told you, the best way to have your cup of coffee, and of course, for you to interact with us on these national issues. And here's our question of the day as far as the BBI situation is concerned. Would a multiple question referendum be suitable for the country? Will the multiple question referendum be suitable for you as a Kenyan? Find us across all social media, and of course, we shall sample some of your feedback. Okay, Gabriel, I was coming to you, and yesterday we saw the Deputy President with all these, individuals from Parliament and from the Senate and of course, from the governorship of, various counties. And we have seen that he has the numbers. Why is it so difficult for him to just say, okay, guys, I am leading a no campaign? Why are we confused? Because Kenyans don't know whether he's for, against, or at the fence.
True, and that's a very good question. Personally, I think the Deputy President has been trying to run away from what he terms, or many people within his camp are terming divisive. They don't want to take the no because it is felt that it will further divide the nation. If we go by that analogy, then they find the best way is to continue talking and discussing to find a consensus. But the consummate reality that we must accept, Mbuvi, is that there's going to be a referendum. And that referendum may actually produce those who want to go this direction and those who do not want. Or, as the likes of Musalia Mudavadi and Honorable Raila Odinga have told us, it's time bad. We've closed on this document. We are heading to a referendum, and it may happen as early as June.
Yes.
So that's the reality we are looking at. In my view, what I was talking, or probably what maybe in my own suggestion, like just a few other Kenyans who have come out, is to say, what do we agree on? All right? What are the items that we agree on? And this is why I keep reminding Kenyans. The President was telling us to read this document. There's a reason as to why. His Excellency the President kept insisting, once you come into contact with that document, read it, understand it, have a conversation with it and with other people, so we all know where we are heading. The President was trying to communicate this, that we must go beyond the excitement of BBI. All right? We must move ahead from just saying yes and engage and find a way to discuss. Because if there's one thing we agree as Kenyans, is that we are not in the right place. There are things that happen that bring us to the brink of civil strife every 5 years. As much as we agree on that, how do we go about it? Right now, when you are discussing BBI and signatures and everything, remember, now we've gotten to a stage of where we are talking about the how. How do we change this? But we know the problems. So I think I will be the last person to kick out any idea that any leader is coming with. Whether it's Deputy William Ruto who is saying, no, there seems to be a way. I mean, what is wrong listening? What is wrong listening to what Honorable Raila wants to say? What is wrong listening to what Honorable Musalia Mudavadi wants to say? Because that is how we engage. There cannot be any other way. Right? Just the other day, the church leaders, came out. They brought out what they felt should be addressed. What is bad in listening? Because the more we close people out, the more we create what I call political clusters. Buvi, I'm telling you, we are going to lose. I want us to listen to what Kenyans have to say. And let's take a look at what's up in regards to what we asked you earlier on. The multiple referendum is not right according to me. We need to have the document read and understood, and then we give our opinion where necessary. We are not ready for competition, but to have a document which saves all Kenyans equally. Andrew from Isiolo. Thank you very much, Andrew. Hello, what if the county assemblies pass the amendment bill with amendments that are unique in every county? This is Gona from Malindi. Thank you very much, Gona. Actually, that's a very good point.
In the real political sense, a referendum in between the elections always serves as a mock test vote for politicians to ascertain their political grip in the political landscape. It can help us deal with issues raised before elections as it serves their political ambitions. Multiple questions for referendum can be managed if at all they have Kenyans good at heart. If they were able to manage the 9 issue points, then even this is manageable. If we can be allowed to vote on issues, the better. Njenga from Kihara. Thank you very much, Njenga. Mbuvi, it is very ironical. We have been waiting for masks and sanitizers for so long, rather, only for signatures to our front doors first. Our priorities are upside down. Kenyans right now need service. Thank you very much. Remember, you can also let us know where you're watching from and your name as well. Millie, coming back to you in regards to the stance or position that the Deputy President is taking, how comes we are not sure where he is? Even his own, people, his supporters are pressuring him to go the no way, but he looks undecided, for lack of a better word.
I think we cannot be sure of where the Deputy President stands because what we have been sure of time is that his interest is very limited.
Okay.
Remember that in 2007, he was a hardliner on one side of the political discourse that we had then. And I think that the late Kofi Annan, may his soul rest, did mention the Deputy President as being one of the hardliners even then. We know that in 2013, he's been very excited about the concept of having 2 of the largest communities in Kenya come together to the exclusion of the others. Okay. Therefore, his agenda, I think, has been very clear as to what he wants. Remember, he came into politics as a child of Moi. You can, even up to now, is not that of people to present themselves, but rather of gifts, wheelbarrows and etc. with the hustler nation. And therefore, when we are talking about rebuilding, where people will be much more independent, where people will be much more able and determine their stance, it is not an agenda that he can easily identify with, and he needs to find his space. By then, we have to see him as the new watermelon on the block, because then it becomes very difficult for him to stand firm and clearly support one side of the debate. Very unfortunate, because popular leader, he has got massive following. And the fact that he has been able to create massive following with the hustler nation would have given him ripe opportunity for him to promote an agenda of Kenyans coming together, of us moving beyond of 2 communities, where, remember, even between 2013 and 2017, appointments were made. We knew where his slots were going. We could identify his appointees in all those appointments, whereas at least we could see a bit more diversity, not much more, but a bit more from the other side, his partner. Okay. That the Deputy President needs to opportunity to show Kenya that he can be willing, like he said himself yesterday, that people must change and embrace change, that he can be willing to embrace a concept of a unified country where people can speak for themselves, where it is issues and not emotions that bring politics to play.
Okay, thank you very much, Millie. There's a word we've not had in quite a while, watermelon, Oliver, and she has just brought it up. But is it possible that the Deputy President is actually on the yes side of things, but he's been pressured by all these 146 plus 7 governors, making it 153, pressuring him to just be on the no side? Is it possible that the Deputy President has already given in and he's like, you know what, mi kitu bana naitaka?
Mbuvi, in this country, there are people you can call watermelon, and then there are others who cannot be watermelon. Okay. Because of how their politics look like. There are 2 politicians in this country who cannot be watermelon. One is Raila Odinga. The other one is William Ruto. It is either the door for them or the window. There is no the wall in their politics. But coming back to, why did we have BBI movie? For some of us who read it, is we were told BBI was there because there was a contested election in 2017, and then we needed to heal the nation. I do not understand these now the campaign to have people being on no and others on yes in a document that is supposed to be a peace document. I have tried to understand, I can't find it. Although myself, I am for defeating that BBI referendum and all its machinations.
Okay.
But I do not understand the campaign sustained by media, all the people around, to have a real battle or to have a curtain raiser between Raila Odinga and William Ruto in this referendum. I think my take will be this. If we want to see and to test the numbers of William Ruto, we are all together in this country.
Okay.
In 16 months to come, we will be facing a general election.
Yes.
It will be the time for us to differentiate between men and boys. It is very simple movie. But when we are discussing a constitution, something that affects the generations to come, the next election will just be with us for 5 years, whoever we elect. It is a mistake we can bear with for 5 years. But the mistakes we make in this constitution, some of them will be here for some generations to come. So if today we are talking about a document that came out of building bridges, I thought the proponents and those who support BBI will be more happy to have William Ruto meet them at the center.
All right.
And I can say for the last few years, I have seen William Ruto transform from being the person Millie Lwanga talks about that Kofi Annan described as a headliner to is walking towards the center.
Okay.
And that, I think, is good to our politics. And then there's also another politician who I have seen moving from being, look like a loose moderate, to being a firm person. Is Musalia Mudavadi.
Okay.
It is something that happens daily. But coming back to the issue of watermelon, when we are discussing this kind of debate, it is not about black and white. We need to ask ourselves, what are the options on the table? We were told this BBI, just like the 10 Commandments were not amendable. But when the bill came out, when it was launched, we saw amendments. So I think we should strive to have the inclusion of more, because by including more, maybe we are excluding less. But if we strive to exclude less, to include less, we are excluding more. Okay. And we cannot, as a country heading to a general election in less than 2 years, be seen to be having more people shouting from outside and less from the inside. We need to have everybody as much as possible in the tent, so that we can even reduce the impasse as we go to 2022.
Gabriel, is it possible that, you know, the Deputy President might have created a monster that he can no longer control in, you know, his supporters, his lieutenants, the governors, and the MPs and the senators, in such a way that he actually is also tired of the kuvurutana, like Oliver is saying, and have everyone on the inside, but, you know, the couriers and the dwellers will not allow him to breathe anymore, because they're like, look, we have also invested, we have also put our reputation on the line, we have also done ABCD, and it's either you stick to the no, or it's no way out for you as well.
You see, that could be so, but you still understand, or you must understand that it does not end there. I think it was just last week, or probably the beginning of this week, where Honorable Raila Odinga met with, I think, the Muslim leaders. And what came out of there, from what he was saying, is that it's not the end of amending the Constitution. Okay. So in my perspective, I just read that they probably were not able to agree on changing anything in the document right now. In fact, what are the proponents of BBI are saying, we have closed the door. BBI is not now a document whether you can pigeon or you can cherry pick what you think you want and, you know, make it a document that will suit you. That probably is what is coming out. And I told you earlier on, Buvi, that we must precede that excitement of just having a document. It must mean something. That document must mean something. Even to the people who read it, they must read and understand and see the things, the items. I look at it in such a way that it's a document where does it go over and beyond what I like? Right? Does it represent what I would like? And you have 2 or 3 facets there that don't appear or does not sit well with you. What are you going to do with those? I think what will come down to Mbuvi, and this is what I keep insisting, might not be the best way, but we are heading to a yes or no. To answer your question, is Deputy President William Ruto being pushed to the no side?
Yes.
I feel that is where he's being relegated to. You say no, you move away with your
that is what
no.
is in his heart?
On this one, I think I may not know what is in his heart, but what I can tell, the Deputy President, if he was to be listening this morning, is two things. And this is what, in our fact, it's only one thing, which was said by the third President of the United States, the former Jefferson, who once said, when it comes to matters of taste, flow with the current. When it comes to matters principle, stand like a rock. Where do you stand on BBI?
Okay.
All right?
All right.
If you feel that it's not addressing the things that you want, then have the principles, stand like a rock.
Okay.
Say you're not going to be, because like Kipchumba has said, the people who are known to really stand on their principles are, these two gentlemen, and he mentioned Raila Odinga and Honorable William Ruto. So it has come time to say, if you're going to stand on this, stand on this. If it's going to produce a no camp, then so be it.
Okay.
All
right.
Many people would probably not want to see that, but if it comes to matters of principle, then I think you and your brigade have to be counted to go the no way.
Millie, the fact that the former Prime Minister did meet the Muslim clerics and probably even other like the pastoralists and so on and so forth, as much as this exercise has been closed to further amendments or discussions, are we still looking at a possibility of consensus? Because the Deputy President is still talking about dialogue and still talking about multiple questions and so on and so forth. Are we actually looking at a situation whereby consensus is not really an unreachable goal?
I'm not sure that under the current framework, there is really much room to still go for further amendments and delay the process further if you're to follow the logical process that is currently ongoing.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that, as has been said right from the word, that realization of the BBI agenda require legislative amendments, will require policy development, and those are processes that are yet to begin, that are outside the constitutional amendment process, and they are processes that will still require further discussion. So I think that some of the issues that brought to the front currently are issues that may not necessarily require a constitutional amendment, but could be incorporated in the legislative process going forward.
Okay.
Would behoove the President and our Prime Minister, who have been guiding the process from one side, and of course also the Deputy President, who is a key national leader and has also been guiding the process from whichever side you'd want to place him, to be able to point people to the direction in which they would be able to see the issues that are of concern to them being addressed, whether it is through policy or legislative agenda.
All right, thank you. Oliver, 2022 is when we shall have our general elections. And again, like in the clip we saw as we began the conversation, is it possible then to just push all this forward, have it together with the general election as we're choosing the president and so on and so forth, and now have those amendments take effect after this particular situation? Because we have other issues that we need to deal with. COVID-19, unemployment. We're seeing universities here almost tripling our fees if you want to study. Is it possible to just take this whole conversation to 2022, the referendum, and then give these principles a time to just tweak things here and there and probably reach the consensus that the Deputy President is talking about?
Mbuvi, I'll take a different approach, and the approach that has informed my decision on BBI.
Okay.
BBI is still not a want for us as a people. It is a luxury. We do not need BBI to begin with. All we need is or are leaders who can implement Constitution 2010. Mbuvi, in that document, there is nothing that tells you or indicates otherwise, that if tomorrow we have an election and the loser refuses to concede and gets to the streets, we won't go back to where we were in 2017.
Okay.
There is nothing. Two, there is nothing that tells us that
In the bill?
immediately,
In the bill? Okay.
yes,
Okay.
immediately we vote in BBI, it will usher in Kenya to the what Raila called Canaan. There is nothing in that document. So we need to be real with Kenyans. We need not to build Kenyans to thinking that the moment we pass BBI, there are other people who will bring us taxes to make Kenya prosperous. We need to tell Kenyans that Kenya will prosper only if we work hard, grow our economy in double digits. That is how we'll increase our turnover and increase the taxes we pay. And by doing that, there'll be more money to trickle down, Mbuvi. Going forward, the problem this country is facing, look at what IMF is telling us. Merge some parastatals for us to give you 250 billion. How many people will lose their jobs? We are now back to where Nyayo left us. The issues of social restructuring and what have you. Those are the things that our leaders should be preoccupied with. The things like what is happening. I will say climate change is a more serious problem to us than BBI. If we lose the Mara River, we will not have the Mara ecology. How many billions will we lose in that part of the stretch? What are we gaining in this BBI process? We are just employing 2, 3, or 4 leaders who will lose elections and come back through other things. The honesty we need, Mbuvi, is to tell each other the truth as a nation.
Okay.
And that is BBI remains like, you know, there has never been a crisis in a man having a second wife.
Okay.
It has never been a crisis, and it can never be. First, more so to a man who cannot feed the children from the first wife.
Okay.
So BBI to us remains a polygamous marriage, which is not a necessity.
Okay.
Because the monogamous marriage, nobody is comfortable.
All right. Gabriel, closing remarks on this one. Karori has just said there are no guarantees in the BBI, yet we can see our leaders vehemently fighting on either side of the divide.
Correct.
So is this an exercise in futility?
Well, I won't call it an exercise in futility because it's like saying when we promulgated the 2010 Constitution, it did not help solve some of the issues. The problem at hand is, even with BBI, even if it's passed, I don't think it will alleviate all our problems. And I think that's a good communication that Wakili Karoli is trying to make, which is very true.
Right.
You've just seen some of the things that you've talked about on our dailies. More pain, you know, as our universities, a fee is going to be, you know, I mean, you are just giving us an example. You went to campus and you used HELB actually to raise your fee, and you're able to graduate. And an example that you've given to our viewers again today, Mbuvi, is that it has now doubled for people coming in, and they'll still not get the entire amount. HELB are going to cut it by 8,000.
Right.
So it just creates a complex scenario. What do we do with the likes of Mbuvi who are churning out of our secondary schools and moving to the campus? We still need to increase the footprint of our academic institutions. What do we do about that? Just yesterday you saw we've lost 70% plus of the tourism in 2020. And this can actually be, you know, greatly attributed to COVID-19.
Right.
But we just spoke here a while ago that 2021 may actually be a little bit worse than 2020. So what does that portend? You know, 3 months ago, our coffee, you know, EU, the big market to our coffee, raised concerns that our coffee and tea had serious insecticides. You know, they had surpassed, you know, the
levels.
The levels. So what are we have so many things right now going on that I can also understand where people who say, you know what, is this the right time? We can understand where they are coming from. But at the same time, we say, can we chew gum and walk at the same time? That is the kind of scenario which I think will play here. The more, the more I feel we continue engaging, as Kenyans, I think will be better. You know why? Because this is how we are going to address such things. But then again, Buvi, I am not talking about addressing things and then leaving them as they are. We need to now start seriously debating how this country is going to come out of the economic doldrums. The dollar is really killing our shilling by the day. Okay. Soon before you say cut and a half, it will be $1 going to about 120. Is it something we need to just see without discussing it? And that's why I'm saying, even as people talk about BBI, there is a think tank that must start having a serious conversation of how we are going to come back, you know, post BBI.
Okay. Millie, as well, closing remarks on this one. Should we have the referendum in 2022?
I think that we have discovered in the last 10 years or more that there is some gaps. The gaps that we had talked about in 2010,
yes,
when we were passing the current constitution. We had the Auditor General under Jubilee 1, 2013 to 2017, do an audit of the constitution and identify gaps. We had a team under Abdi Kadir in the office of the president looking at the issues that needed address as far as parastatals and the structure under the current constitution and the makeup of the country was concerned,
yes,
to make things work better. For us to wait to go to 2022, so that then we will be talking about change beginning in 2030 again or 27, I think would be doing a disfavor to the children and the youth of this country, who need to begin to see that we have realized the mistakes that we have made sooner rather than later. So I think that the sooner we conclude this, that we benefit from it, the better we can move on to implementing it and seeing or realizing the fruits, if any.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As far as that is concerned, we come to a close on this particular discussion. And of course, back at home, thank you very much for your interaction as far as the conversation is concerned. Remember, it still continues, and you can continue it by dialing *550 *4#, and for only 10 shillings, you get the copy of the People Daily. But do not go too far. In the next hour, we'll be having Faiza, Shikoka, Itani, and myself going through Interactive to look at the trending stories of the day.